the game.
Shout out Guru. Had himself a fun day yesterday.
Oh, we all did.
You're right. 95.7 the game station outing. We played some softball, got some swings in for some BP early, and then played like 3 innings of a game. What was the final score? What side ended up winning?
Oh, a lot to a little. It is funny. Yeah, Guru might have hit the longest ball of the day, but his team did take the biggest L because our team, Mark, was victorious.
Well, Guru was technically on our team, wasn't he?
He switched up on us. He was supposed to be on our side, and then I don't know. You guys were out. You outmanned us by like 3 people.
Oh wait, no, Goo was on our team.
Yeah,
but he was the team captain of the other team, and then right before we started, he jumped ship.
He goes, "Oh, I'm going to be on this side." Traitor.
Yeah, it was funny. I was supposed to be on your team at first, Ken, and then I switched because it looked like you had too many players on your team. Like there wouldn't be enough for the other side to fill the roster. And then,
you did the same thing, I guess.
I had to take my talents. My little brother showed up, and then the Giddings bros just took over.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, once that happened, I looked around. I was like, wait a minute, there's only 4 of us. I was like, it was just me and Willard in the outfield.
Yeah, you guys figured it out.
I appreciate you guys teeing us up. We made some nice plays out there, had a little bit of fun. Walked away with not too many injuries, which is always huge, especially around the game. It feels like a lot of people have been going down, dropping like flies. Ruptured tendons, muscles, all the rest. I'm pretty sore, but not too many catastrophic injuries yesterday.
The only thing was Dibbs was pitching.
What happened?
And he had his life flash before his eyes. Because I think it was Lucas's dad. Didn't he hit that?
No, it was Butcher. It was Shasky.
It was Butch? Okay.
Line drive right back up the middle.
There's a net.
Dibbs was pitching slow pitch.
He walked away. He walked off the field after that.
Are you serious?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you didn't see that?
Dibbs, what are we doing?
Dibbs is pitching soft pitch, with a softball, underhand looper to home plate. Yeah. Shasky's hanging out there, and Shasky, maybe the best ball player out there. Obviously does it a ton, coaches and all that. Evan puts his hand up. He's
I'll raise my hand.
A good
Shasky wants no part.
Good ball player as well. You guys were talking trash back and forth all day.
I hope he's listening.
It was great. I know he was earlier. He was upset we didn't lead with this at 9 o'clock.
Sorry, Shasky. You weren't the lead after Aaron Judge hit 2 moon balls last night.
He was listening at 9. I wonder if he's still listening now. Knowing Shasky, he probably is. But Shasky hit a liner right back where it came from. Good thing he had the netting there because it hit it. But it was hit so hard, it took the netting all the way back right in front of Dibbs' face, and he just immediately walked it off. I saw my life flash before my eyes. I'm done. I'm going home. I'm out.
Oh, that's why Lucas was pitching. By the way, thanks for Butcher, basically setting up the entire ordeal as far as the net, which is supposed to be what generally stops a ball from hitting you in the face, that or your glove, one of the 2 things, Dibbs. But he also had the softballs out there. They brought some hardballs. He brought his boys out, set up the entire Sunset Park
bases
field
out there.
Yeah, it was a really, really nice outing. And I was sore by the end. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I was a little bit.
I'm still sore.
I'm really mad. You came over with Goo. You guys got there before I did. Goo was immediately going in to take some cuts.
I remember
some
how we
BP
got there,
cuts. And his first, you could tell the story better than I can. His first swing, right? He hit the dirt.
Yeah.
Swung and missed and fell over.
Yeah, it's one of those, just like a classic, I don't know, like have you ever been to a birthday party, see somebody swinging at a piñata blindfolded, and they overdo
yank it up?
Yeah, and then you just completely whiff, you get spun around, you hit the deck. It was Guru's very first swing, and I'm not going to lie, again, because of the pregame festivities, I'm very happy that I was not hitting immediately because I probably would have done the same thing. Let's just say that the balance may or may not have been off kilter based on some of the substances that were consumed.
But then Goo fought through it and put one over the fence, the only one to do it.
He did, yeah, and he hit one off the wall as well. An impressive display of power from Daryl the Guru Sosa.
But 95.7 the game decided, I think it was almost unanimous, that the MVP of the softball outing was a Mr. Sam Lubman, Morning Roast producer.
Oh, my God.
Because he showed up in full, not quite full uniform.
Brett Wisely.
But he had the knee-high giant socks on him while everyone else is shagging fly balls and taking grounders. He's on the left sideline doing high knees and getting stretched out. And then
And then what did he do?
Sam's not listening. There's no chance Sam's listening.
I don't care if he is.
And then
cut it and send it to him if he's not.
Oh, there's a couple of different things that he did.
Hit the ball.
He was the only player out there who struck out on slow pitch.
Yeah, he took strike one, which number one, what are we doing? It's a softball game, swinging the ball, and then swung and missed twice. And then shout out to our 12 and under all-star, whose name escapes me. I apologize.
Yeah,
for letting Sam know about it. You can't strike out in a slow pitch softball game.
So he struck out. Sam came up the next time, and he swung and missed on the first pitch. And our little 12-year-old star, who's throwing the soft pitch to Sam in the middle of the at-bat, says, "Hey, don't strike out." Talking a little bit of trash to him.
Sam did redeem himself later. I think he made a nice play at third base, but the damage was done. I'm not going to lie. Between Lubman Kang at home plate, Bonte rolling over on a ground ball. I mean, it wasn't a great showing from the Signing Guru show either, because Butch might have carried the morning rose from that perspective. You guys, the afternoon show was pretty respectable. Guru hit the deck on his first swing, but then went yard. I, of course, was spectacular. And probably the toughest showing for the morning show. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Morning roast, play some ball.
Yeah, come on. You got to do better than that. But it was a lot of fun. Thanks to Shasky. Thanks to Matt Nahigian, our boss,
legit whiff. Did not make contact with the ball. Yes.
And he had a throwing error from third base as well. But
he got Henry Rowan Gardner. You remember at the end of what was it, Little Big League or Rookie of the Year? Yeah, when he has got nothing left. The magic Mike juice has worn off, and he just goes underhand to my guy on the White Sox that everybody hates, and just a swing and a miss. Now but twice in a row.
Shout out, Sam.
I love you, Sam.
I think I was the reason that his throw from third base went awry because I was playing short. Sam was playing third. Ground ball. I actually made a really nice pick, Sam did, to get the ball. We got a force out at second, though, and it was the easier throw instead of going all the way across the diamond. So as he's fielding it, I'm telling him, hey, 2. But he had in his mind 1. So he heard me and kind of was stuck between two minds and threw it perfectly between first and second base into right field. And everyone was running around the bases for a while.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why the athlete alert didn't go off a whole lot yesterday.
All right.
How'd you feel about your performance, Ken?
You hit a little bit.
I got to base it.
Brett Beatty.
Evan robbed me of one. He was twisting his body like a pretzel and caught like a little.
Evan was roaming center field with a catcher's mitt.
Yeah, well, he was
first
like
baseman?
It was like short center.
Baseman.
Like he was like
softball.
It was like a short. He was like playing the lip a little bit, but I felt good about. I couldn't believe I could field still. I was, and that's not even a brag. It was just like. Just the balls are getting hit to me, and I couldn't believe I could actually field because I haven't played baseball since I was like 15.
Yeah, I was basically Andrew Jones out there.
Okay.
Or his kid.
If you're Andrew Jones, I'm Scott Rowland at third.
Please.
Let's be easy, David Wright.
The 510 asks, Did anybody invite Arson Judge to the pickup game?
We did extend the invitation, but he was a little busy hitting bombs.
Yeah, he pulled the guru. He pulled 2 gurus at Oracle Park.
He said he was going to show up and then bowed out and then actually went to Oracle Park and decided to put on a show there.
Yeah, and he did that. The Yankees won yesterday 6-2 over the Giants. Game 2 tonight. Logan Webb on the bump. 7:05 first pitch. We're taking your calls here over our last hour on this Saturday up until noon here with Evan Giddings and Mark Grandi. Yeah, what's up?
What do you give me for this, Ken? Evan Kiermaier. Best center fielder in the league.
That's good.
Yeah, I like that.
All right.
I'll give Evan that's a 3. That's a 3.
Works. That works.
Back to Wiggins.
You're right. Although we just got a text from Bonte. He was listening. Bonte says, y'all better be careful. We're talking bad about the roast. Y'all better be careful.
Well, Bonte should have stayed. He needed to hit. He needed to redeem himself at the plate.
I don't blame Bonte.
He had to go to the game.
Yeah, he had to go to the game.
Well, Guru went to the game. I think he showed up just in time to watch Judge hit that bomb.
Yeah. You don't want to miss any of the game. I don't blame Bonte. But the morning roast as a whole, Shasky carried it. We can agree with that. We can agree there.
Well, just because Bonte didn't give himself a chance to swing it, I wanted to see what I'm assuming he's a left-handed bat. I wanted to see it.
Yeah. Would have been fun. Next time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're talking about Klay Thompson and the Warriors and everything that Anthony Slater was writing earlier this week on The Athletic. Klay Thompson potentially not the Warriors' number one priority this offseason. Something else, one other nugget that Anthony Slater wrote about that I thought was very, very interesting. You talk about Warriors targets and goals and players that could go after this offseason, and of course, you immediately get into the LeBron James and the Kevin Durant and all those kinds of players, the Giannis's and players like that. Okay, well, how realistic is that? Probably not that realistic. Let's live in a more realistic category here. And for a lot of people, maybe the best player that the Warriors could legitimately, realistically get this offseason, maybe it's someone more in the Brandon Ingram tier. That's been a name that's been floated around a lot. Maybe the Pelicans, after this last season, want to move on from somebody because Zion and Brandon Ingram, maybe it doesn't quite work. They're going to build around Zion. So
they want to elevate Trey Murphy.
And yeah, you're right. Trey Murphy and Herb Jones and all those guys, they got wings. So Anthony Slater wrote this. If Brandon Ingram hits the trade market, I would not expect the Warriors to show interest, but Anthony Slater continues, if the Heat shop Jimmy Butler, I would expect the Warriors to enter the conversation to at least some degree. So Anthony Slater, who's very plugged in and tapped in and knows a lot that's going on with the internal thinking of the Golden State Warriors, says even if Ingram is shopped, I do not expect the Warriors to be in on it. However, if the Heat and Jimmy Butler cannot make up, if you remember, Jimmy Butler talked about how if he was available and on the floor, he would have sent the Celtics home packing. And then Pat Riley, the czar of the Miami Heat, essentially said, if you're not playing, then shut up. If they can't make up and they want to move on, then Anthony Slater says at least the Warriors will be testing the Jimmy Butler waters.
I mean, they should be testing all waters. It's not like they can decide to tiptoe into the shallow end or they go headfirst into the deep end. They need their water wings and they need to explore every single inch of the pool that is this summer because they have a lot of things they need to address. So I do think they need to be open to Jimmy Butler. The one thing that entices me about him, forget the money, forget the age, it is the fact that he has 2 years left on his contract. Now, I think one of the hangups in Miami is he wants an extension, and so he wants to be paid, but I am all for, and I think this also applies to Klay Thompson too. One of the big things that Klay could be asking for this summer is years. Like Draymond Green got 3+ a player option. He got a 4-year deal essentially because I expect him to opt in when he's 37 and might not be worth $25 million anymore. But I think the Warriors, if they are to make any sort of move this summer, it has to be with the understanding that it needs to align with the rest of Curry's contract, which is 2 more years. So the fact that Jimmy Butler is also on that same alignment, that does entice me.
Player option for 25, 26.
Yeah, essentially a 1-and-1, right? So that, I think, is something I'd be open to. With Klay Thompson, if they bring him back, I would be hesitant to give Klay Thompson more than 2 years. I know that Draymond Green has the extra year after Curry. I still feel like aligning these guys as much as you can on the same timeline, Curry, Klay, Dre +1, and then Kerr, that is the way that I would like to see the Warriors approach this offseason because I think it gives them the most financial as well as optional flexibility, optionality, what do you want to call it? So, I mean, at face value, Butler is a player that I think also Curry would love to play alongside. I think he's a smart player. I think when he's available, he's productive. The question is, and I think the reason why Miami's probably shopping him is just because of what Pat Riley also said when he called out his star forward, which was he didn't play enough. And the Warriors, I don't think, are looking for more players that don't play games. But if you're able to acquire him and it's not going to cost you a lot, then that would be something I'd be open to.
Yeah, he's about to enter his age 35 season. He's making $48.8 million this coming year, has a player option for the following year at over $52 million a year. And then as it currently stands, he's an unrestricted free agent the 2026 offseason, so 2 years from now. But he could enter free agency as early as next year because he does have that player option. But he's getting up there. Again, he's about to enter his age 35 season. that does kind of align with the Warriors and the way they're all set up. But the question would become, what would it take to get him? Because, again, this isn't a free agent signing. This is a trade, and Miami isn't in the situation, Evan, where they're just going to go into a rebuild. That's not in the Miami DNA. It's not in the Heat DNA. They're going to try to stay competitive as best they can. I mean, you still got Bam Adebayo. You just picked Jaime Jaquez, who's on the all-rookie team this past year. He was picked one pick before Brandon Pajemski. That was a really good pick by them. Like, they're not at a place where they're going to bottom out and take on all these picks and wait a couple of years before they're being good. They're going to have to get something of value back, and maybe it's a 3-team trade, and maybe not everything that they get back is from the Golden State Warriors. But when you factor in who Miami is and the fact that they're going to still want to compete, and the fact that the Warriors are going to have to send out like 48, 49, 50-ish million dollars to get this deal done, it's not going to be a trade that comes cheap, despite the fact that he is entering his age 35 season, is probably, much like everyone else on the Warriors roster, already in the decline of his career.
All right, so let me throw this hypothetical at you, because I think this was proposed by Bleacher Report, which is also one of the, I guess, sites that have suggested Jimmy Butler could be a Golden State Warrior this next year.
Okay.
It doesn't involve Kuminga, which I'm happy about. It would be a 3-way deal. This is the suggestion, in which the Warriors would acquire Jimmy Butler and Cole Anthony from the Orlando Magic.
Okay. 2 guard.
They would be sending out Chris Paul, Andrew Wiggins, Moses Moody, Brandon Pajemski, and 3 future first-round picks.
It's a lot.
What's the hang-up? Is it the picks or is it players?
It's the picks and the Pajemski and Moody portion of it. But you're keeping
Kuminga.
You're keeping
You're
Kuminga.
getting off of Wiggins' contract.
You're getting another scoring guard in Cole Anthony, and you're getting Jimmy Butler. It's difficult, but I think I'd probably do it. I think the way that the Warriors have to approach this offseason, no matter which way they go, and I say no matter which way they go, we know which way they're going to try to go, which is being aggressive in terms of trying to improve the basketball team. If you're going to do that, no half measures. Go all the way. Like, if you're trying to improve this team and give Steph Curry two last chances to compete again, go all the way. Go give up as many picks as you can. Give up your youngsters. Get as many good players in here as you possibly can, as you financially can afford to do. The worst thing, in my opinion, that you can do is give up on a portion of your future, trade away some picks, trade away some of your youngsters, and only get marginally better and still be like a 6 seed in the West, and maybe you win 1 series, but that's it. Like, that seems to be the worst. You got to put all your eggs in one basket, and the basket that's most likely that they're going to put their eggs in is being aggressive to help Steph, as opposed to the opposite, and sell all your pieces away. So if you're going to do something dramatic, go all in. And this, to me, seems like an all-in move where you're giving up Moody and Pajemski and 3 first-round picks to get a player like Jimmy Butler, who has 1, 2, maybe 3 at the most good years left.
I mean, I also think Cole Anthony is a pretty good player and would give you certainly some more scoring. But yeah, it's about acquiring Butler. I guess the question is, looking at the Dallas Mavericks right now, who were a 5 seed this year, like, they were rewarded because they were aggressive at the trade deadline, or they were aggressive in making moves, and really have been making moves the last 2 years. And they've mortgaged some of their future, particularly for Kyrie, and were able to basically flip a couple of non-helpers into PJ Washington, along with Daniel Gafford, who are now helping them potentially win an NBA Finals in a couple weeks. So I think for me, the question is, how much you believe. I'm fine moving off of those particular players. I like Moses Moody. I think Brand Pajemski is a good player, but if you can use them to help you acquire a talent like Jimmy Butler, who, yes, wasn't available for the postseason, but he still played 60 games this year.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the target number for someone like him. I would very much consider doing that. The hang-up for me is the picks. And it's not necessarily the first one, which would be 2025. It would be the last 2, which are 27 and 29.
There's a chance those are very good picks.
They are valuable. But then again, the one that you don't have this season might have a direct correlation to why you won a championship in 2022, because you moved it in 19 to get off of Iguodala, and then you eventually use that money to acquire D'Angelo Russell, who had to help you get Andrew Wiggins, who helped you win a championship. So in a way, the first-round pick they don't have this year is absolutely worth it, in my opinion. From that standpoint, I do think I would be willing to give up that haul for someone like Jimmy Butler and Cole Anthony, because I do think the gap between the Warriors, like if you're looking at them in Dallas, it was 4 games. Can Jimmy Butler and Cole Anthony help you win 4 more games? I also think it includes Klay Thompson coming back, because I don't think you let him walk. And I'm not sure, maybe they would have to just for financial purposes, but I think it also involves bringing Klay back under that, because you're basically just leaning in on all your old in-state players. But I mean, I think if that's how you want to look at a big, like that to me would be a big move.
It's a gigantic
That
move.
would be a massive swing that the Warriors are taking. And from what the body language has been, it feels like that's what they want to try to do. So I don't know if they could get Butler, but I would be more in on Jimmy Butler than I would be on Brandon Ingram.
Interesting. Why? Just because you think he's a better player now, or he fits the roster better now, or he lines up with
all three? Yeah, I just think he checks all the boxes for me. I think he's a better player right now than Brandon Ingram. I think he is someone I'm okay with paying for another couple seasons, and I think he would fit better in what the Warriors system is.
So the relative, compared to Jimmy Butler at least, the relative youth of Brandon Ingram, the fact that maybe could help you win now potentially and be a potential centerpiece of your roster moving forward, is that not enough? Like, is that not enough to make up maybe the difference in how well they fit on these current rosters?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm inclined to believe that if Brandon Ingram is not the centerpiece on a roster with Zion Williamson, CJ McCollum, and Trey Murphy, I assume he wouldn't be a centerpiece on my team. Or I wouldn't expect him to all of a sudden become a centerpiece on my team.
You're just completely opening yourself up, which again, probably the way that they should go.
You'd also have to move multiple first-round picks to probably acquire someone like Ingram.
You're right. But you're looking at, say, 5 years from now, then no Jimmy Butler, no Steph Curry, no Klay Thompson, no Draymond Green, and the only guy you got left over is Kuminga. Meanwhile, maybe if you got Ingram, you have Ingram and Kuminga potentially. Who knows?
The team, and you and I have discussed this off air, but the team that I would want the Warriors to target, if your goal is to get better now and then also acquire players for later, it's the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like, I would try to go get Jared Allen, who I think is legitimately acquirable. Like, I think Wiggins for Allen is something that would match up financially.
The Cavs are just a mess.
That was something that'd be a move that I would do tomorrow. Actually, I would do it yesterday. I would trade Andrew Wiggins for Jared Allen yesterday. But the other player that I would also try to acquire, because his name has been out there, is Darius Garland. He's coming off a down season. He's been an all-star. He's only 24 years old, and he plays, I think, a premium position that right now is, of course, manned by Curry. But if you're talking about a player that you can keep and, I guess, infuse into what the Warriors can be now and later, Darius Garland checks